Welcome back. Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, 22-year-old Tyler James Robinson, has today been charged with murder.
The Utah County Attorney this morning announcing that he will seek the death penalty for the accused killer. For more on this, we're joined by constitutional lawyer and legal analyst Mackenzie Joy Brennan, live from New York. Mackenzie, thanks for your time on this. Big news that's been filtering through this morning. Tyler Robinson facing a string of charges. Can you lay them out for us?
Yeah, so a lot of them are obviously related to the one act that we're aware of, aggravating factors for that murder. So you have the murder charge itself, which they've put an aggravating factor on because in Utah, you are allowed to charge extra if you are targeting somebody for political expression. That's the type of hate crime statute that we see in other states. But in New York, for example, we don't include political expression in the hate crime statute. We use more immutable characteristics. So that's an interesting distinction with Utah law that makes it unique and obviously makes the Kirk situation pretty unique as well. Everything else stems from that. There's committing a violent offense in front of a child. There's another aggravating factor, which is murder that causes serious risk to other people. The shot that was taken was right in the line that the questioner was also standing in, and so easily in a crowd that size, anybody could have gotten hit. So there are 7 charges. They're all related to that one action.
So because of that, and this has been talked about for since Charlie Kirk's death, that the death penalty will be called for in this case. Do you think that's going to be a likely outcome? It seems like it will.
I think it's very possible. I think in a case like this, even if everything goes according to plan for the prosecutors, it's the type of case where you're going to see appeals on appeals on appeals. And it's been a very fast process, which looks good for the government, but it also means that errors are more prone to happen. Right. Even in the press conference today, for those who tuned in, somebody asked if it was prejudicial to a potential jury to include in that press conference that this suspect's DNA was found on the gun. And that's a great question. I mean, they included it in the public information, so their answer was, we're allowed to say it, fair enough. But there are so many things that are coming out before a jury is even selected in this case. So I think short answer is yes. Long answer is it's going to be a long road.
Interesting. There are all sorts of other pieces of evidence that have come to light this morning as well with the process that's been underway in the courthouse today. What, in your view, is the most compelling evidence so far?
I mean, the DNA is extremely compelling. I think the fact that we also have some text messages or Discord messages that were turned over by a roommate, those are the types of things that if you look at the text of them or if you heard it in the press conference, they're really explicit and damning to the point that they're even raising questions for conspiracy theorists and even, regular commentators online that why would he spell out all of this in a text to a roommate? He said things like, I did it, here's where I left the gun, here's why I did it. A lot of real express confession in those texts.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting when that goes to court, how they prove all this stuff. In other news, we want to get your interest in while we're here is Luigi Mangione, the man accused of shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. He's also faced court. What is the latest there?
Yeah, what a day, right? And both of these cases show the interplay between federal courts and state courts. In the Luigi Mangione case, we see the state of New York racing against the federal court in New York, which is the Southern District, to get their case done first. So what happened today is another step in getting that to come to trial, or potentially a plea deal is possible. We do not have the death penalty here in New York State, so that's off the table for this piece of things. But the big things that happened today were the dismissal by the judge of the state terrorism charge. And because first-degree murder in New York State depends on a factor like, a federal official or a government official or furtherance of an act of terrorism, and that was the one qualifier for first-degree murder, that meant the first-degree murder charge also came off the list, and now there's only the second-degree murder charge. So yeah, pretty big day.
So where to for here? Where to from here for Luigi Mangione?
I think there are going to be some admissibility questions about the manifesto, the ghost gun, some medical information that may have been received in violation of his healthcare privacy rights, his HIPAA rights. Something like 100 pages without his consent were turned over in the case and were used by prosecutors. So all of that's going to come into play.
All right, we'll leave it there. Mackenzie, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
See you soon.